There's a good chance the way you're thinking about discipline is making it harder. Not because you're not trying hard enough, because of the direction you're pointing your attention. Most people approach discipline like, I don't want to scroll, or I don't want to miss the gym, I don't want to procrastinate today, I don't want to fail. And every single one of those thoughts is your brain spending focused energy on exactly what you're trying to avoid. There's a psychological principle behind why this backfires. It has a name. There's a famous experiment that proved it. I'll get to that in about 2 minutes, but when I explain it, you'll immediately recognize it from your own life. I'm Patrick. I like to make these videos as lessons I've learned to my younger self and help filter out some of the noise going on the internet today. The white bear problem. In 1987, a psychologist named Daniel Wagner ran a simple experiment. He told participants one thing: do not think about a white bear. That's it. Just whatever you do, do not think about the white bear. And what happened was immediate and consistent. Everyone thought about the white bear. Constantly, immediately. In fact, the harder they tried not to think about it, the more frequently it showed up. I called this the ironic process theory. The idea that the mental process of trying to suppress a thought requires you to first generate the thought, so you know what to suppress. So the suppression mechanism and the thought are running simultaneously, and the suppression loses. So, I don't want to check my phone. The brain just thought about checking your phone. I don't want to miss the gym today. Your brain just generated an image of you missing the gym. I don't want to fail. Your brain's actively using every neural pathway associated with failure, picturing that in your mind. The negative doesn't register first. The concept does. The brain does not process don't before it processes what follows it. It processes what follows it. Full stop. Your brain cannot think about not doing something without first thinking about doing it. The mindset of lack. Here's where this goes from interesting psychology to something that actually costs you. When your entire relationship with discipline is built around what you're trying to avoid, you're operating from a mindset of lack. You need to flip this and use an inversion principle here instead. You're thinking about what I don't have, or what I don't want, or what I'm trying to prevent. And the brain, wired to focus on threat and absence, takes that frame and runs with it. Everything gets filtered through what's missing or what's wrong, which produces a very specific feeling, this low energy, low level background anxiety about the things that could go wrong, that you're constantly worrying about and trying to prevent. It's exhausting, but not in an obvious way. The draining, low energy kind of way that compounds over time, leading to burnout without a single dramatic event causing it. Take two people training in the gym. One is training not to be out of shape. One is training to add 20 pounds to their bench in 12 weeks. Same gym, same sessions, same program. Completely different relationships to the work. The first person is running from something. The second person is running towards something. Over 12 weeks, same effort, different outcomes. Because the direction of focus determines the quality of the attention, and the quality of attention determines the quality of the output. This is similar to something Alex Hormozi mentioned in his video for the 3 keys to success. So I'll start backwards here, but the third one was impulse control. So being able to sustain doing consistent inputs over a long period of time. Doing so many reps at something that would be unreasonable for you to fail. That's what that part means. Then the other two are running away from something, so maybe going away from an insecurity to try to get to your goal of success, or whatever success may look like to you. And then the other one is running towards something, running towards the shiny object, towards the goal, because it's big and grand enough, like becoming a professional athlete, for example, or becoming famous or rich, are common ones for a lot of people. The running away, the running towards, similar to the carrot and the stick. And he argues that people who have a little bit of both are going to do the best, and more people tend to be running away from something than running towards something. But it's very important to keep in mind, even if you are running away from something, the way you do it is not by visualizing the worst outcome happening. They did another study where they took 3 groups of people shooting 3 throws for a basketball. So the one group of people practiced every day for 15 minutes. The one group of people visualized every day. They didn't shoot a single basketball, they just thought about shooting 3 throws for 15 minutes. And the one group didn't do anything for 15 minutes. And then they tested to see who would do the best of these 3 groups. So as you would imagine, the group who practiced the most every day did the best, and the group who didn't practice at all did the worst. But it was very surprising that the group who just visualized it got 80-90% as close to the group who practiced every day. This goes to show that your mind does have power over the outcomes of events. If you can really vividly picture something, your brain can't tell the difference between a real memory and fake memories that you implant if it has genuine emotion behind it. So what does this all mean? If you're visualizing the negative outcomes with the negative emotions, let's say failing, or anything else that's negative towards this, you're reinforcing this and making it more likely to happen. But the same is true for the other side, right? So regardless of which motivation you have, you don't want to be picturing the worst outcome happening. So your immediate concern may be, how can I hedge this? How can I have a backup plan then if I'm not supposed to picture it not working out? Which there are also 2 schools of thought on. Like pretty much everything has two sides of the coin, where one group people say one thing, one group will say the other. So you have the David Goggins, burn the boats, just keep doing your main thing, and if you do it long enough, eventually it'll work out. And then you have the other side, which is hedge the bet, have a good contingency plan or two good contingency plans. If the first one doesn't work out, try the second one. If that doesn't work out, try the third one. This way you're always one step ahead. Then the first group would argue that you're planning to fail if you're not believing enough that the first one's going to work. So let me know what you guys think about the two sides of that and where you stand. I'm putting out videos on this kind of thing every day. I like psychology. I'm trying to learn more about it. I've read a bunch of books and enjoy watching videos. So hopefully you guys do too and learn a thing or two from watching these. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Let's get back into it. Discipline is subtraction, not addition. This is the reframe that I think is most practically used. Most people think about discipline as addition, adding more to the morning routine, more rules, more restrictions, more things to track, a longer list of things you're not allowed to do. And that model is functionally backwards, because every restriction you add, every extra step you add in your routine is something your brain now has to actively suppress. We just established suppression doesn't work. The restriction becomes the focus becomes the energy, and the energy feeds the thing you're trying to eliminate. Real discipline looks like subtraction, not adding restrictions on top of a life that's full of friction. Removing the friction entirely. Not, I will resist social media during work hours, but social media is not accessible during work hours because the app is gone. Now I'll try to eat better this week, but the food that breaks the diet is not in the house. Not, I will make myself go to the gym even when I don't want to, but the gym is already in the schedule and the bag is already packed. The disciplined version is the one who resists more, and the one who's already removed enough friction that resistance is barely required. You don't rise to the level of your goals or to the level of your discipline. You fall to the level of your systems and your environment. Build the environment where the right action is the easier action, and watch how little discipline the whole thing actually requires. But if you had to choose between adding more things to your routine versus eliminating things, I would lean towards eliminating things first, since that tends to be an easier place to start for people than doing more. If doing more feels too overwhelming for wherever you're at, try to just get rid of some of the vices, try to get rid of a little bit of the bad things, and then naturally you'll want to replace it with something else. So maybe that bad thing gives you 8 or 9 out of 10 dopamine on a scale. So if you just take it away, you're going to 0, and then you're going to feel like something's missing, and eventually revert back to the habit if you don't replace it with something else. So you need to give something that's going to give you like a 2 or 3 out of 10, as an example. So it's still doable for you to be consistent with this. For example, if eating junk food or eating, fast food gives you like an 8 or 9 out of 10 on dopamine, try to eat some healthy food. That might only give you like a 3 or 4 out of 10, but it'll be much better for you in the long run in getting to your overarching goal of wherever that is. True discipline is not adding more to your routines or adding more rules. It's removing everything that makes the wrong action easier than the right one. What to focus on instead. So if you can't discipline yourself by avoiding things, what do you actually do? You point the focus in the opposite direction, not away from what you don't want, towards exactly what you do want. Make it specific. Not, I want to be more focused. Change it to, I want to be focused for 3 hours of real work before the afternoon every day. Not, I want to stop wasting time. I want to finish the first draft of my script before I open anything else. Not, I don't want to fail. But instead, I want to post a video every single day for 30 days. The specificity matters as much as the direction, because a vague positive is almost as useless as a negative. I want to be healthier gives your brain nowhere concrete to point. I want to add 10 kilograms to my squat in 8 weeks gives you a target. I want to lose 5 kilograms of weight in 4 weeks. That gives you a target. And a brain without a specific target naturally starts filtering for information, opportunities, and behavior that move towards the target, not because of willpower, but because of the intention and actions that follow the things you orient yourself towards. Point yourself at the right things specifically enough, and a lot of the discipline problem will solve itself. Action over avoidance. So here's the final piece. The most effective way to stop thinking about what you don't want is to be actively doing what you do want, not suppressing the unwanting thought, replacing it with a concrete action, because the brain can hold a limited amount of active focus at any time. A focused action on a specific task crowds out the background noise of avoidance thinking. Get in the zone, in the flow of things, without requiring you to suppress anything. You're not fighting that white bear. You're giving your brain something better to focus on than the bear. The moment you feel the pull towards distraction, instead of, I shouldn't do this, ask yourself, what is the next specific action I need to take on the thing that I'm building, or my main thing, and do that. Not because the distraction disappeared, but because you gave yourself somewhere better to focus. Action doesn't just move you towards your goal, it actively starves the thoughts you're trying to avoid. It's not motivation, this is just how your attention works. You don't beat the unwanted thought by suppressing it, you starve it by replacing it with a concrete action. Here's the thing I wanted you to take from this. The gap between the life you have and the life you're trying to build is not primarily a discipline gap. It's a direction gap for most people. Most people are working extremely hard at avoiding the wrong version of themselves, thinking about what they don't want, building systems around what they're trying to prevent, measuring success by what they didn't do, and their brain doing exactly what it's designed to do. Keeps returning to the thing they're pointing at. What is the thing you're trying to avoid? The shift is simple. Not easy, simple, just like most things in life. Just a long list of simple things to remember is what makes it so complex. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't take away things. I think this is a good idea. Discipline is a game of subtraction. It does work in that way as well. By eliminating your bad habits, by eliminating the things you shouldn't be doing, that's going to leave you with the things you should be doing. But it's about focusing on your main thing and your next steps for this instead of focusing on what you're not supposed to be doing. You need to just be able to set it and forget it in your mind and then just continue to take action. Stop defending yourself by what you're running from. Start defending yourself by what you're building towards. Make it specific, remove the friction between you and it, and take the next action. Don't choose to be disciplined tomorrow. Choose to be disciplined today, right now. Because the white bear goes away on its own the moment you stop trying to make it go away and start doing something worth thinking about instead. I used to think discipline was about willpower and being the person who could resist more for longer. I spent a long time trying to be that person and wondering why it wasn't working. The reframe that actually changed everything was discipline is not about adding more. It's about removing everything that makes the wrong thing easier than the right thing. Build the environment, point the focus, take the action in that order. I appreciate you guys for watching this. I love you guys, and remember, take consistent action on your main thing and don't stop. Peace.